Hello, my name is Mike the Mighty and welcome to another video. Today is a how to make gold video, and it's a technique that I have noticed is very proficient at making a lot of gold. As you'll see in the background right now, this is actually the ending of a particular run. And it's to do with the meta event in Auric Basin. Now, this has been sped up, so if you have a little bit of problem following, don't worry, there will be slightly slower and more explanation as the video goes on. The problem is in Heart of Thorns, with the 4 main maps that were introduced with Heart of Thorns, is all about participation. Now, what you're seeing here is a Zerg go through the meta event from the east in a anti-clockwise rotation by hitting and actually attacking the octovines. This is part of the meta event. And one of the benefits of doing this is that you actually get credit for every single one. So right now, I actually logged in and had very little, if to no, actual participation in this event. And the reason why that's so significant is because the participation of the meta event actually determines your rewards. So if you stuck to east, north, west, or south, you would only get, like 30% participation, and wouldn't get too many rewards, too many exalted keys, for example. And so by this actual format of a Zerg going from the east, starting at the east, doing a big burn, going around in that anti-clockwise formation, and you end up at west, and then you can go back to whatever one you want. And for example, I'm just waiting here because as a warrior, for the south actual meta, I can't actually do any knockbacks. So I'm letting the other people take that, and I'll come in with a DPS. And this is where you'll actually see us do pretty well. And this is one of the benefits of this meta event. Now, obviously, this wouldn't actually work for a lot of the traditional things like the aura events, but it's all about participation, which came in with Heart of Thorns. And this is why this type of meta event is so good. A lot of the problems in, say, Verdant Brink or Tangled Depths is that if you move away from an event for too long, you actually lose participation for that event. This doesn't happen for the Octovine event. It doesn't matter if you start off at the east, go north, west, and south, you'll still get credit for every single one, even if you AFK for a while. And so this is why it's actually a very good way to make gold. Alright, I'm not actually sort of saying it's fantastic to AFK, but it's a very good way to actually maximize how much profit you can actually make. Because what this means is that if you do all 4 of the octovines, you will actually get a lot of credit, which means you'll get a lot more keys, which can be used to open chests and get a lot more rewards. And that is where you're actually talking how you can make profit from this. Not only that, you'll actually gain more Aurelium. Now, Aurelium can also be used to buy exalted keys, which you can then use after the meta event is finished, and actually, find all the loot that you get. A black diamond's worth over a gold right now. You can get Auric dust, Auric ingots that you may need to craft weapons, and then a lot of other champion bags and such, and so on, which you're going to see in this video, me do a complete run and do the Tarnished Traitor. So you'll notice here we've got a huge amount of rewards, we've got a lot of participation, we've got the meta event that we completed, and you'll notice event rewards for each octovine, and we've got 200% map participation, because I'd actually been on this map a little bit earlier, got around 80 to 90% participation. So I was actually online with 2 of my guildies, and you probably recognize them from some of my other videos, Jiggy Joe and Zero Kitsune. They're on different characters for this one. And so you can see here, this is actually what we're actually getting. Now, I have had enough with actually buying a lot of exalted keys because I'm saving up for other things, but you can spend up to and get up to about 25 keys. You'll notice here we've got the Tarnished Traitor as well that we can get some extra loot for. But if we actually talk about the keys, as I failed to dodge, the keys actually are a relatively good way of getting a lot of materials. Not only that, there are a lot of chests. However, there is one that I generally do not actually use. I don't ever go for the basic chests because I don't find the rewards that rewarding, to be honest. So I would never ever open up any of the smaller chests. Always the 2 you want to open up. As you can see, a lot of the loot we've got here, the 2 you actually want to open up is the grand one. This is the big spherical one. Unfortunately, what some guy was doing was putting a black line trading post down all the time. But you've got these, also the other exalted chests, the great chests. They're also useful to actually do. You'll notice again that someone's being really irritating and putting down a permanent trading post down, which got everybody agitated, to say the least. But yeah, the problem is you can't actually see in the big ball thing. That's why it was irritating. But yeah, these great exalted chests are also a good way of getting loot. You can see we're getting some rares, some champ bags, you know, some auric dust, leaf fossils. We're getting a few masterwork items. You can see I'm really struggling to actually find a way to actually open up that chest, which there we go. But it's a great way to get champ bags. You know, it's the equivalent for doing the silver waste farm. You know, getting these champ bags, getting so many rares. Look at the rares that we're getting just by doing this meta event. You know, by actually doing the 4 different, by going in the Zerg and actually doing these 4 zones, it's getting you more actual keys to get more loot. It's giving you more loot. It's a fantastic way. So from now on, if you're ever going to do the Auric Basin meta event, I recommend that you actually get in the Zerg, start at the east, you head in an anti-clockwise direction, because you can't actually go from south to east very easily. It takes you a fair amount of time. So that's why people generally go in the anti-clockwise formation, because it's very difficult to go in a clockwise rotation. Not only that, the east is the easiest one to do, so that's why people end up doing the east side first, because you don't need any armors. You can just float in, drop the bombs, boom. It's the easiest one to do. North is relatively easy to do as well. West and the south tend to be the tricky ones and require a lot more effort. So you'll see this guide here has given you hopefully a way to see and maximize how much gold you can make from this. I hope you do find this useful. You should try out this technique for yourself. See if it makes you a fair amount of gold. It's not going to cost you anything, but it will earn you a lot of rares that you can then capitalize and sell, you know, all your junk, you know, afterwards. So you'll see here now we've actually got a really useful amount of materials, a useful amount of beryllium, and I found it very useful indeed. I hope you enjoy watching, and I'll see you on the next video.